I don't understand why this is broken. Shut up.
It died.
Hi, everyone. If you guys can hear, we can't hear you. That thing played like 4 times.
Is it still playing?
It just stopped.
It didn't play on my end.
You know why?
It died.
Because I had my freaking podcast up. I was testing the YouTube thing. It was playing through YouTube. So it was looping through my fucking headset. Hi, everyone. I suck at technology, and I work in technology.
Nicely done.
Today, we have 4 people in here that talk fishing.
Oh, we got a 4 kind.
Somebody I've been trying to actually get on here. I think I've probably asked him 10 times and then had conflicts that caused him not to be able to come on for whatever reason. But I've been trying to get Pete on for a while. But if you guys have gotten Dark Horse boxes, you've probably gotten some of his baits, because that's actually how I found out about Stoneman and Sons long before I knew Pete. Was I got some of his baits in a Dark Horse box. And I wanted to bring him on because he's a very creative dude, and he's working on an order right now, actually probably painting as we're sitting here. But I wanted to bring on someone that does something a little bit more creative than just talk about fishing.
Oh, yeah.
So this is the question I wanted to know, because I never actually asked you this. And for those of you who don't know, Pete was also the first director of the Slay Nation Vermont Trail when I tried to start it and failed, and he picked up the ball where I had originally left off. And then I took over last year and is going to be the director next year because I ducked out to do the jigs and bigs thing. But the bait painting, how did that start for you? Was that like something you started with specifically baits, or did you do something else and transition to baits?
It kind of started as sheer boredom. I moved up here maybe 8 years ago now from Maryland. Obviously didn't know anybody, had wife, kids, no going out and partying, meeting people. So got back into fishing then. And then just watching YouTube. I was accepted art schools when I was after high school. All I wanted to do was art. Never made it to art school because I couldn't justify taking English and math classes. All I wanted to do was paint. And then it just seemed like a good fit. I was fishing. Started, watching all the YouTube painters, especially Jen Kravasi with Jekyll Baits. And that really got me hooked. And it just kind of, with the plastics, you'd shoot your own plastics. It's like a rabbit hole.
It's bad. I got an order from England AI coming Monday. I've got a knockoff, what is it, the Crush City Mayor mold coming Monday.
Yeah, I mean, aside from the thousands of blanks that are sitting just to my left here, I have a whole jig bench with probably 15 molds. I got a soft plastics bench with probably 8 or 10 molds. But I tried to sell soft plastics for a little bit.
That's a tough market.
It wasn't really that interesting to me.
Yeah. It's really
just make them, lose them, using them, and then make more.
Yeah, I think it's oversaturated right now.
Oh yeah, yep.
It's the thing about plastics is, and I think that's the funniest part is I actually made this joke on Wendell's podcast one time, was soft plastics is the most expensive way to save money.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Because you spend $200 on a mold, and then depending on what type of plastisol you get, you're looking at $30 to $50 for a gallon of plastisol, and then you got to buy colorant and glitter, and by the time you're all done, the color never comes out the way you think it's going to come out. The guys that actually can make color, and actually painting is the same way, I'm sure, but like you think it's going to be brown because when you mixed it and it's hot, it looks green pumpkin. But when it dries, it yellows or it darkens, or the glitter has a weird effect to it. Or the worst part for me is I'm making it in a little shed.
Mm-hmm.
And when I make it in the shed, it looks a certain way. And then when I get it out in the sun, not the same color when I made it. And that's something that I'm sure that probably happens. I know I talked to Abe about it a little bit. You could probably actually talk more educated to it, but like I know like how water affects like how the bait looks in the package isn't necessarily how the bait looks in the water either. So you have to kind of account for that when you're painting it, because the effect you're trying to get, you have to take into account the water actually is going to affect the color too.
Yeah. I mean, I mentioned it, I think, in the chat on your last week that everybody, if you're wondering about colors, go check out the Steve Rogers video. He does like different soft plastics, and he runs them through a filter.
Yep. Our boy Brad's over there.
I'll always paint it for you, Brad. But different, like he runs it through a filter that basically is as close as you can get to filtering it of how a fish sees color.
Yep.
And then he shows them both out of the water and in the water, and you'd be surprised at like, I'd say probably 75% of the colors I have up here to paint don't matter.
Yeah, because they can't see it. Yeah.
Unless you're over like 10 feet, right?
Chartreuse looks white. It just looks like matte white, if that's makes any sense.
I know I've seen some stuff where like red like disappears after like 5 or 6 feet or 8 feet or something like that. Like red like is gone. It's just dropped out.
So that's really affected. That I watched that video recently, and it's, if you notice some of my patterns getting a little more simple, that's why.
Makes sense. Yeah, but your patterns, you say simple
for because obviously my job is to catch fishermen,
right?
Make them feel confident about their bait they're throwing. They want something that looks like a rainbow trout. They don't want it to look like a rainbow trout that's 10 feet in the water.
Right.
Look at it as a rainbow trout. So
yeah,
I try to match it there, but some of the wild colors I kind of stay away from though.
It's the thing with two of those, when you say more basic though, because I've seen a lot of your stuff, like what you consider basic is not, it's still detailed. Like there's still a lot of detail in it.
Right.
Like I've seen, I mean, I literally saw your stuff at the booth too, but like, I mean, and honestly, the coolest thing is like one of the best advantages of knowing a bait painter. I'm not going to lie. I know 2 of them now, and it's really nice to be like, hey, I can't get this bait anymore. You want to make me 3 of them? Because that one that I had you mimic, I lost at St. Lawrence.
Did you?
So yours are the only ones I have left now. I knew I was going to lose that bait one day, and that's why I had you replicate them. So the actual bait that I basically, the original that I was having you kind of copy, I don't have that anymore. It broke off at St. Lawrence.
But the one with the crawl pattern or the perch pattern?
The perch pattern, that like black purple one. And I may end up having, now I will say, ironically, the first place I caught a fish on that pattern was at his lake up by him. I took that up there and fished it on, I forget which one it was, but it was one of the ones up there that I fished that I ended up catching. Matter of fact, I think one of the fish I caught in that tournament was on that crankbait. So it ended up not being one of the ones that I scored, but that's I think one of the coolest things is being able to match colors, because you do a good job at like color matching's got to be difficult.
Yeah, I mean, I usually get close enough. But it doesn't mean I don't have. Usually, if I'm painting something that somebody wants me to match, I'll paint 3 of them.
Yep.
Generally, one for me, one for whatever they ordered, and another bait. So if I got a color like I think this is what I need to do, I can test it on that bait.
Nice.
He's got a bunch of them. Actually, I might have it here. Hold
on. I know all of these are going to the New Hampshire store. These are the bases for the perch. Or does he mean your perch pattern?
He's probably means mine. I think I have one.
Oh,
right here. Hold on.
Yeah, I don't have. You have the only ones I painted of those.
You guys talk amongst yourself. I'll show you.
Hey, Chris, are you going down to New England Fishing Expo?
Yeah, I'll be at both. I still got to send my sheet in, but I'll be there.
Yeah, so do I. I was talking, Mark might be coming down again also.
Yep.
But I was thinking, I don't know. I might not stay at the hotel. It might make more sense to see if there's an Airbnb, like a big enough we can all just like.
I'm in for that. Yeah.
And that'll save me some money from the hotel bar.
Yeah.
Say you have a fishing problem without saying you have a fishing problem.
Yeah, that'll definitely work, Pete, and it'll do better. And we can definitely talk about that.
Hey, Mike.
Yep. Yeah.
Dude,
Dude, you know what's funny is I actually have a box of blanks too, because I dabbled in I did the whole nail polish experiment.
Mm-hmm.
Just doing I would use masking tape and tape lines and do little nail polish patterns on plastics, or on hard baits, but it made me appreciate more with somebody who has the skill to actually make a bait, because it's not easy. I went down the rabbit hole, started looking up stencils and all kinds of shit.
He makes his own.
Yeah, I make a lot of my own.
A lot of guys, what's crazy is having talked to Chris from eBay a lot, who's the only other person I have experience with that on. It's crazy some of the stuff, it makes sense, but when guys tell you how they make their stencils, stocking, nylons and stuff like that, to make scales, and guys tell you all kinds of tricks, and you're like, oh, that makes perfect sense.
Yep, I got a bunch of that tooly stuff around.
There you go.
Where the fuck is that, baby?
I have some of these 3D stencils.
Oh, that is
But I don't know, in my mind, that's cheating.
a little, but once you replicate something.
Yeah, but for expos, I definitely use it to lay down base crawl patterns, and I'll shade in around it, or if I need 30 crawl patterns, it's way faster.
Yeah, I don't have that right here. Maybe it's in my other box. Let me find it. Hold on. Keep talking. You use what I was gonna ask you too. You use mustad hooks, or what hooks do you use on your baits?
Pretty much all mustad triple grips.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Sticky.
Dude, they're crazy.
Yeah,
that's the one thing I hate was
putting hooks on a bait.
They've never failed me.
I actually buy a lot of those to replace my Strike King.
Mm-hmm.
Their hooks suck. You might as well just throw. I actually wish Strike King would charge me 50 cents less and just not give me hooks. Their hooks are so awful.
Yeah, when I started out, I was using VMC hooks, and then
VMC aren't bad if you get higher.
Multiple fish break off because the hook broke, and I was like, "Yeah, no more VMCs. I can't have that."
It's crazy. Split rings, how much those matter too.
Yeah,
I've noticed that a lot.
I mean, it's not. I would have to charge considerably more to run owner stuff on everything.
Yeah.
So I can't. It's not worth it for me to put hyperwire hooks on everything. Split rings, but the ones I run are from.
All right. I don't have the crankbait handy, but I do have the jerkbait. So you probably even forgot you made me a jerkbait. So that I don't know if you guys will be able to see it very good.
Oh yeah,
that's the perch pattern.
I forgot I made you the jerkbait.
Yeah, this thing. Let me tell you, this thing in the water. This is getting used on the Connecticut on Saturday. When it turns in the water, that green orange right there, dude. It flashes so good.
See, from that Steve Rogers video, now I look at that and I see the purple is going to show up a brownish red to a bass. The chartreuse will show up white, and the orange will show up like a muddy brown, like a whitish brown color.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
See, it's crazy because when that bait specifically, I've had actually. This is the other color he made for me, guys. This is a copy of this. So this is actually the vintage craw Berkeley that I have, that bait that I caught the two fish on one crankbait. It's that pattern.
Nice. What hooks do you have on that?
What's that?
What hooks are on that?
These are I think these are stock ones that he gave me there, so they'd be the mustad ones. Yeah.
Those are nice.
Dude, I mean, can you tell how sticky they are? That's a piece of fabric that was off my shirt. Just ripped a piece of fabric out of my shirt when I tried to put it back.
Remind me of the Spear Point EWGs by BKK.
Yeah.
Those things are like insanely sharp. I got them on all my Jackal TNs.
Well, the triple grips are kind of like a they're kind of like an EWG shape too.
Yeah. Yep.
Mhm.
The way they're bent back a little bit.
So you guys say you're going to Expo, right?
Yes. Yeah.
I'm actually. I was just looking it up, and I'm like, I haven't been to that before. So
You should
I'm,
go, dude. It's fun. That's
The
a good
New
little show.
England Fishing Expo.
No, I've never been.
Yeah,
You'll
last
be-
year was my
you'll
first
be there,
year.
too.
Like, I'll be back.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I screenshotted the dates and times and stuff. So
Yeah, he'll be there too. I would be there, but I'm gonna be in Ohio.
Yeah. We'll be there. We'll be at New Hampshire probably.
I might have to
There's
put
one or two
you
other
for
ones.
New Hampshire instead this year, Chris.
There you go.
I might tag along for when's the New Hampshire one?
I can't remember. Normally February,
Okay.
end of it.
That might work out better. I can tag along for that one. It'll be a different show for me this year because I'm going to be with the Dark Horse boys. I'm going to be up with
Right.
Zach and Josh, Pete. I'm going to the Columbus show with them. I'm going to be working the Columbus show with those boys.
Yeah, Chris, I don't know if I can just having to paint all the baits. That's out doing those two a month after the New Hampshire
it's tough.
after. But I still want to go. So if you need a hand one of the days,
Yeah, you're welcome. You know that.
I'll be glad to help you either set up or break down or load up or whatever you need to do. But
It's kind of bittersweet for you because you kind of hope you sell out at the New England show, but if you don't, then you'll have some baits for the New Hampshire show. So it's kind of
I mean, I got a learning experience last year at the New England show, so
that show's nuts for swim
I
baits.
think I went there with just over 400 baits, and I came home with 17.
That show, that New England show, dude, is heavy hard bait. Like it's crazy. You go through some baits there. It's nuts.
Yeah.
It was crazy seeing that line.
Yeah.
We're just trying to rush to the glide bait companies.
Well, you got what's his name that does the like 20 baits and then goes home for the day.
You got a couple of them. You got Sherpa. You got Pisani. Is that no? That's not
Lanciotti,
yeah.
Lanciotti. Man, you got a couple guys that do that. Bullshad goes in there. Yeah.
They literally, some of those people pay extra for an early bird ticket so they can get in there for the first day so that they can get those swim baits.
Yeah.
I didn't actually realize that on the Saturday that there was VIP things. So I came in all like, I was like, is this place already open?
Yep. Yeah, dude, it's nuts. Like I
was like, damn.
It's crazy how like it's a timing thing too, though. I think like the time of year that they do that show is perfect because everybody is like chomping at the bit. It's getting to that point of the year where you're like, oh man, I really wish I was fishing. And then there's this expo where it has all this stuff, and you're like, oh, I might as well go and walk around. And then, but yeah, I'm literally driving. So Bobby's picking me up here, and we're driving to fucking Ohio. And we're up there from Thursday to Sunday.
Done that right a few times. Not bad.
It's actually going to work out because with my newfound Jigs and Bigs tournament duties, I'm actually writing up the plans for what we're going to do for tournaments next year. And I'm going to kind of go over everything with him and then like hash everything out because we're going to have 10 hours stuck in a car with each other. So I'm like, it's a perfect opportunity to like talk shop all the way up. But it's going to be fun because that one's supposedly fucking big. Like, there's like pros everywhere. I mean, there's pros that go to the New England one too, but like this one's got like a lot of industry people and
bigger floor.
It's a huge floor, dude. Yeah. There's gigantic fucking like I was looking at how many there's just so many freaking people there. And what's really cool, and it's going to be really bad for my budget, is apparently there's a bunch of JDM booths.
Yeah.
Like legit JDM booths, like guys like custom ordering all this shit and have like actual full-fledged, like there's like a Jackal booth and there's like a bunch of different like like not US jackal stuff, like stuff that you can only get over there.
Right.
And like mega bass and all that shit, like the actual, I mean, I don't want to say it's not real mega bass here, but like what you're buying at Dick's, there's colors that you can't get at retail stores here that they have there. So, but that's going to be the part that's going to suck for me, is I'm probably going to end up dropping a bunch of money on shit because I'm going to be in fishing Disneyland. So the other question I had is how did you, and don't give me any trade secrets, but like, is there like a secret bait supplier for blanks, or is there like, because obviously like you're not carving or pouring your own fucking molten baits, like your actual like plastic stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Is there like a place that you go, like is it just you just call this company and say, hey, make me a Vision 110 blank, or is it like you have to
there's a lot of vendors, and they all pretty much sell this. The blanks come from the same places.
Gotcha.
Because everybody knows, like, I think it's something like 95% of plastic baits in the world are made in China.
Right.
Obviously the factories have different degrees of
probably different tolerances and stuff.
Yeah. But like all these, I basically picked my vendor basically by customer service. Like he has the same baits, his prices are reasonable, and he has better customer service than the rest of them. Now he's closing his business, so I'm kind of trying to filter through and find my new spot. But I may cut out the middleman. I found a site that's been decent, that I can just cut out the middleman and order them from straight overseas myself.
Gotcha.
And it's the same. They're identical baits.
That's cool.
All of my blanks, when I get them in, they all get, they get scrubbed and dawn, and then I leave them floating just to see if there's any leaks. I can catch the leaked ones pretty quick.
That makes sense. That's a good.
I just let them float. If I pull them out and dry them off, and I see moisture inside, depending on the severity of it, I'll control as much as I can. And actually, over this winter, I want to build a test tank in my front greenhouse there.
Yeah.
Because I do still have intentions of making my own baits. It's just finding it to do so.
Now, when you make your, like, you're gonna make your own. Like, is there a way to? Are you talking like carving, or are you talking like make your own actual like?
Yeah, carving.
That's cool.
What I want to do is carve, like a wooden master, make a mold out of that, and then pour epoxy or resin.
Cool.
Resin blanks. I think I have. This was like one of the first ones I had carved, which I quickly scrapped, but
okay, yep.
That was just going to become a little jointed crank down thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool. I never even thought about that. Yeah, because you can definitely make your own, essentially make your own jig out of a wooden bait and then make that into an actual mold.
Yeah,
I know guys do that with plastics, with like silicone, or I've seen like guys like copy other plastic baits by pouring silicone over an existing bait and then having it like they can make a mold out of it. But
yeah,
I've never gone that far because that just looked like too much work to me. But
well, on my soft plastic stuff, I pretty much cheap out since I'm just making it for myself. I don't care if they're shiny. I'm not making to sell.
I would actually prefer them not to be shiny. I kind of almost wish there was more molds that weren't shiny.
If you get any of the do-it molds that are the cast aluminum, not the CNC, they'll come dull.
Will they? Okay.
Yep, you'll lose the shine right off them.
Because that's actually, I think, to be honest, I still am on the fence about like scent in certain baits, like max scent specifically. But the max scent baits are all matte color. Yeah. And I think that has more to do with me catching fish on them than the scent itself. I think the fact that they're not, because most like 5-inch worm style baits are literally, dude, I don't have nearly enough stuff behind me. You'd be surprised. that being said, most of that stuff is actually baits I've poured that I just didn't even use this year. But I did find that like matte colors in certain situations work better than the shiny, like the glossy, like Yumdingers, for example. They have a little bit of a shine to them. Senkos are the same thing. They have a little bit of a sheen to them. Sometimes I'll even like, I've done stupid tricks where like I will leave some of my baits in the sun and let them dull out, let them fade out, or let them like sit in the package like with a little bit of water so they bloat up a little bit, or do the whole like rub them to get the salt to come to the surface, which mats them out a little bit.
Yeah, that's what I do with the Senkos.
Yeah, with the Senkos especially, because I think the salt is more present, so when they get it in their mouth, they're more likely to keep it because they taste that quicker. But
yeah, and that's, I mean, I'm no pro fisherman. I mean, I showed this year on the tournament series, but what I've been told is that the scent doesn't really matter.
No, I don't think it does.
I've heard it's mainly to kind of block the human scent, maybe block your scent, and to get them to hold on just that little extra second.
I'm still looking into
but it might get them to hold on for a split second so you can set the hook.
I still want to buy that damn book, and I'm pretty close to doing it. There's a book, Knowing Bass, and it's what Berkeley actually used. The research that this dude did is what Berkeley used to create power bait and max set and all that. And for the most part, the funny part is like they literally hooked freaking electrodes into fish's brains and like we're testing like reactions to scents. And the one scent that they were always afraid of was sunscreen. And these were bass that were born in a lab. They'd never interacted with humans other than like to be fed by humans in their tanks. Mm-hmm. And genetically, they have a fear response to sunscreen because it's just genetic memory that's a danger. And garlic, they're completely indifferent to, which was hilarious because
so many baits.
90, but garlic. The logic is the garlic covers the human scent. So the reason why these
plastics purely for myself because I love the smell.
No, and that's what it is. It's humans like it, and the scent of garlic will cover up human odor. So when you're touching the baits, you're getting shit on them. It just that garlic scent is just a cover. It's like deer hunting cover scent. It's literally not meant to attract the bass. It's just meant to not have them be deterred because they smell you on it.
Yeah.
Which makes sense.
I like it because it makes my car smell like a pizzeria all summer.
Well, it tastes better when you have to bite them down too.
Yeah.
Because I'll tell you what, them max scent worms, when you bite them down, they're fucking awful tasting. Yeah, the WD-40 thing it's an definitely old school trick, but that was actually more about the slime trail that it leaves.
Yeah, in the water.
Because it doesn't mix with the water, so it leaves a trail to the bait. A lot of guys, the funny part is my understanding is the reason why that started was because guys used to soak their crankbaits in WD-40 to keep them from rusting. So they would put a little bit of WD-40 in the bottom of their tackle trays to keep their hooks from rusting out. And then they figured out that those baits were getting more bites because it was leaving a slime trail behind the crankbaits. And then they started applying it to, let's be honest. Anybody who's ever made their own plastics has tried weird fucking experiments with I put garlic powder in some of my plastic baits at one point just to see if I would make them have like an internal garlic scent. I made the mistake. I'm going to give everybody a quick lesson of do not put power bait gel in your plastisol while it's hot. You would think it makes power bait scent. No, it makes one of them fucking volcanoes like in high school. It reacts with that plastisol and just turns like those like snakes. It turns into one of them. Dude, it instantly burns and it just goes and it grows right out of the Pyrex. It's crazy. It was like, oh shit! I had to throw the whole jar out.
I mean, burnt plastisol alone is
wow.
If you haven't had that experience, you only want to do it once.
Dude, I've told that story on the podcast, but like I literally almost got in trouble making baits because I used to make them in my front of my house in my little like mudroom area, and I did it with the door open one day, and I was sitting there in my boxers with a fucking respirator on, burning plastic. So I took one of the beakers outside because it was so smelly because I'd burnt it, and like the neighbor kids walked by, and I'm sitting there out in my boxers holding this weird colored beaker with fucking no underwear, like underwear on, mask. Like I looked like I was making meth in my front yard. The whole bait experiment thing though, like did you start with specifically square bills or jerk baits, or what do you prefer to paint? Actually is a better question. Would you rather do a jerk bait or would you rather do like a bigger swim bait?
Depends on what I'm painting.
Okay.
It started with, I guess pretty much everyone starts with a square bill. Just the most common thing. But I don't know. I'm leaning towards, might sound odd, but like spooks.
Yep.
I really like, it's like a perfectly smooth, straight surface to actually do something on.
Yeah.
Right.
My baits I enjoy now. But, I mean, there's always a place for square bills.
Yeah. That's what I got to stock up on is glide baits. I got to get some more. That's probably what I'm going to end up hitting you up for the most.
Now I've just been upgrading the square bills to standard 2.5, and this is like the grenade.
Those are cool baits. I've got a couple of those.
How many coats of paint are you putting on? Like right there, you're showing. Is that your first or your fourth layer?
This one?
Yeah.
This is just a layer of primer, layer of pearl, and then I got yellow over the pearl, a transparent gold yellow.
And then from there, you paint your back and your sides and so on.
Yep, then the details start going on.
So you that lure, if that's a perch color, I'm assuming.
Yeah,
how many total coats of paint?
I can confirm that message from Brad. Those crankbaits you handed out at Chittenden Reservoir, I actually caught a nice color. I caught a bunch of fish on that color, actually.
The warts I handed out?
Yeah.
You caught them on those?
Yeah, I did.
Nice.
Not at Chittenden Res, but
I caught one on Chit Res. After Nick's kayak broke down or was taking on water.
As a matter of fact,
over by the wall and I was just hucking it out there.
Actually, I think I did caught a perch on it the next time I went to Chittenden.
Yeah, I caught smallmouth on them. Actually, at Nineveh.
This one will end up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 layers of paint, I think.
And then a clear coat on top of that.
5 colors, and then I generally do 2 coats of clear. But as I start learning, everything is experimentation. So like my jerk baits now, I noticed 2 coats of clear. That's why I like this spray on clear coat I'm using, because 2 coats of clear, and I think these were like slow float. I started adding a third heavier coat at the end, and that was just enough weight to where I can dial in the sink rate with the clear coat.
That's awesome.
So, I mean, obviously, line, water temperature, that kind of stuff plays into suspending, but the clear coat is what can really dial it in. And I don't even know if I've told you guys, I have matte clear coat. Like nobody just
really, dude.
So
I'm gonna be hitting you up on that then.
Like I have a whole pint of matte clear that nobody ever asked for it. So
we're gonna be having some conversations. we most of us know this guy, and I know a guy that you can get a rod from, Ken.
Yeah.
I know a guy that probably has one in his trailer right now that would I mean, I have one too. I have an Okuma swim bait rod that I would be happy to get rid of if you want to buy a cheap swim bait rod, but
I'm gonna be picking up a swim bait rod from Chris at the expo.
Dude, I'm telling you, I'm using the freaking that frog rod.
Yep.
Dude, that fucking thing works awesome as a swim bait rod.
I throw mine on.
That thing's fucking awesome for swim bait.
Still light enough, has enough backbone to turn them. Love it.
This was a question from Michael Bradley. I'm assuming you mean
like
that. Yeah, what? Show that color again real quick. Yeah, I fucking like that. See, I love that style.
It's got glitter in it, but
that's cool though.
It's a brush tail glide.
Dude, I love those style right there.
How many more coats you got left on that?
This one's ready for clear coat. Actually, no, still got I got to put details on the fins.
Fins and then the eyes. Yeah.
Pickerel fins and a few more details, and then it'll be ready for clear.
So I'm assuming, Michael Bradley, you're talking about +1, +2 for jerk baits.
Yeah, I carry those. As well as 110 juniors now. I guess they're more like a 90.
Yeah, I would say it's a 90. The one
95 millimeter, I think it is.
Yeah.
Man was high for jerk bait, so I figured I should have as many sizes as I could.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna hit you up after the shows are over if you've got anything left and buy some stuff up because I want you to be able to go to the shows with them. But I definitely got some. I like them. Those like junior jerk baits are sneaky.
Mm-hmm.
Those are a sneaky.
Throw well too.
Yeah, like
some of the juniors don't throw well.
No. I mean, I have literally a Megabass one that's like you have to work it slow, or it'll fucking roll over. It'll like wash out so bad. But those small ones, the beauty of those is like right now, cold water time. Like you get that like small size and you work it slow. They're sneaky for that for sure. This is another good question too. I'm assuming like, what is prep work for? That's a good question. Like, what's the prep work? That
is easily the most tedious part.
Because you probably have to like sand them down or something, right, to rough them up, or do they?
I don't necessarily sand them. Like I said, when I first get the blanks, they all get kind of not scrubbed, but they go in a warm bath with Dawn soap and get any oils off of them. That lets me check for leaks also. And any cracks, like if there's a cracked build, it comes in with a cracked build. Generally, the warm water will spread that more.
Gotcha.
And then after that, they basically just get hit with a Scotch-Brite pad, and that roughs them up. It just all you want is like a haze on it.
Makes sense.
And then they get cleaned with alcohol, and then taping the build. Taping the build, that's probably the most tedious part of all of it. I mean, sanding, I hate, even when I did woodworking, I hate sanding. My least favorite thing ever.
Yeah.
And scrubbing them is kind of like sanding, but not as bad. Probably taping them, especially taping ploppers can be a pain.
I can imagine like ploppers. The other thing that's cool is that it's something that like there's a few custom baits that I've gotten over the years. Like you also you do a good job of like, I don't have paint in the eyes either.
Right.
It pisses me off when I get like even retail baits. That, like the fucking eyes, I have to like use another hook to punch the eye out because I can't tie onto it because they painted over it. And it's like, really? That's one thing none of your baits have ever had. Like the eyes are silver. Like you don't even have paint on them, like let alone painted over. Like they're.
Well, I mean, they do have. These eyes are painted.
Yeah.
And generally they're clear coated over. And usually when I'm putting the hooks on, I'll just run a X-Acto knife right through them, then put the hooks on, and they're good to go.
Because I've literally gotten baits from like retail stores that had to punch holes into the eyes for it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's annoying.
You pour jigs also, Mike?
No, I should. To be honest, I'm thinking about getting a lead mold because I mean my favorite bait's a swim jig. And I could easily pour my own, but
I have a poison tail swim jig mold.
Do you?
If you just want to get like one of the little pots that, not the production pot, but one with a ladle.
Yeah.
And you want to mess with it, just all you gotta do is ask. You can borrow anything.
Yeah, because that would be kind of cool because I have the skirt kit.
Mm-hmm.
Like I have a freaking huge like gallon Ziploc bag of like a bunch of skirt material because it's so much cheaper to make your own jigs. Like especially if you're pouring your own, it's even better. But it's like I was going through wasn't really going through a lot of jigs, but it was like I couldn't find patterns that I wanted. The problem is a lot of jigs are made in like southern fishing patterns.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, oh, Tennessee shad and shit. And it's like, yeah, it works, but like there's certain ones that I want to just like have like a bluegill pattern. And like some companies make bluegill stuff, but like I was playing around with like I even went down the rabbit hole of I was mixing like fucking Mylar in with some of mine just for the fun of it, like just for the hell of it, just to see how it would react differently.
Bluegill vary wildly across the U.S. Like,
right.
The look of them can be completely different.
Yeah,
so
they're not the same.
Company just has one bluegill pattern that's great, but it's not going to work everywhere.
No.
I mean, the problem looks at the jig, and even though I paint crankbaits, jigs are my favorite.
Yeah, that's the other thing. I didn't. If you got a poison, that's cool that you have that head because I've looked at it because I know a lot of guys like you pour your own Neds, right, Chris?
I pour Neds, yeah, weedless and regular Neds.
That's what started me on the jigs. Those were the first 2 molds I got.
Yeah.
So I was tired of losing Neds.
Right.
Well, and there's certain styles of like baits that I wish were weedless that aren't. And like if you're pouring your own, you could just put a weed guard in or add the little stick of wire or whatever to make it so it is weedless. And the other thing I've learned is one of my favorite, I don't know if it's my favorite, it's just the one I catch the most fish on, is like literally the swim jig that I'm fishing isn't even a swim jig, it's a pitching jig from Booyah. But it has that same like shape head. But the hook on it, like it does get dull fast because it's a $3 swim jig. It's cheap. And the skirt stuck. So then I end up having to swap the skirt out. So I'm kind of thinking about, I've been debating on getting my own mold because the wintertime, like literally next week, starts my restocking phase. And yeah, I know I have a fucking shelf behind me, but like I have specific colors and stuff that like I pour so that I can make, because I didn't make it through. This is the first year that I actually ran out of certain, like I have the swim jig I pour. It's kind of like a Kitech knockoff mold.
Mm-hmm.
It's the slick. You probably, if you do it, you know what it is. It's a slick shiner mold, is what it is. I think it's like a 3.5 inch, but I pour that, but it's black and green fleck instead of black and blue.
Mm-hmm.
And I put that on the black and blue swim jig. And for some reason, it might just be completely my confidence at this point and nothing to do with the color pattern. But when I throw that with that colored skirt, I catch more fish than if I throw a solid black, a black blue, any other variant of black paddle tail. So I end up pouring a shit ton of those in the wintertime because unfortunately, when you throw a swim jig or chatterbait, and especially us up here can attest to it the most because we're in that country, pike and fucking pickerel love swim jigs and chatterbaits, and they shred the fucking, like half the time they don't even get the hook, but they rip half the bait off when they nip at they nip at the freaking tail on those baits, and I go through a bunch of them, so I end up like in black, like I fish a lot of solid black worms. And that's actually something I was kind of curious because you did that research on the color. Like, there's not a lot of solid black like crankbaits, like black with just like a little bit of detail. And I wonder, is that because they just don't see it, or is it just because bait makers don't make it because it's not sexy for fishermen to buy?
I'm willing to bet that's most of it.
Because a lot of times it's just contrast. Like I'm a very big advocate for, I just showed you guys the box of crankbaits, but 3/4 of those have never caught a fish, but I bought them all because, oh, this looks like a good color. Mm-hmm. But like a lot of times I think it's just the silhouette of something that looks like a bait fish. So black kind of covers that across the board. If you put a little bit of detail on it, it could easily catch fish. It's just no one really makes black. Like I've seen like 6 Sense makes a couple that are like black with blue like gills and stuff, but
there's 1 or 2 in the Strike King line, like in their, I want to say it's like their 3XD or something like that, where it was like almost like a black fire tiger. So it was all black and it had like the greenish yellow stripes going down the side.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got.
That's something I want to experiment a little bit with. I might end up putting in some orders because I want to. Because I catch so many fish on this black jigs, black swim baits.
You might like this spook. I mean, I don't know how it's going to show up on here.
Ooh.
Dude, I do like that. That is cool.
All that is a black bait with this glitter spray I have. This color shift glitter.
Yeah, dude, that is cool.
Right there.
Yeah, it definitely has that like.
That's what I meant by simple patterns.
Dude, and that's well, that's what I mean. Like when guys heard simple patterns, they're thinking like, oh, it's a green bait with eyes. No, like his simple patterns are like fucking color shift with
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to simplify everything, I guess. Like that's where the raw shad came from.
Pete, do you have medium diving crankbaits?
I do.
Yep.
What style do you?
So typically I run the River to Sea DD75s.
I don't think I have anything like that.
They're usually in the like 14 to 18 foot diving range.
Those DDs are interesting because they're kind of a smaller body.
I get smoked on those things. I speed crank with those all year long, and I get smoked on them constantly, both small and largemouth.
Those are.
On Maury, that was one big one. Is I was running the gold. It's like the sunset gold or something like that on that one, and it was freaking northern. Anyways, it was all gold and it had like a brownish black back with a gold belly on it. Dude, those boys were absolutely destroying that thing.
Was it like gold or like chrome gold?
Let's see. If you can go on the Tackle Warehouse website and you can look it up under the DD75, it's like that. I think it's called Northern Secret or Northern Special or something.
Mm-hmm.
I may or may not have Tackle Warehouse bookmarked. So
I'm proud to say I've never even been to the Tackle Warehouse site.
Really, dude? You'd be surprised how many $150 t-shirts I have. My wife's got about $450 nightgowns. Because it's literally like my wife will like. That's the only problem is like even if like she doesn't care, but if she actually did care, she knows like what a Tackle Warehouse shirt costs.
Mm-hmm.
Because they give you a free one with every $150 purchase. You get to pick a Tackle Warehouse shirt, and I've got a couple. I clearly have a problem, but
you got one for every day of the week.
Dude, it's a matter of fact, is it Northern Special? Is that
Northern
what you're talking
Special,
about?
yeah.
I think it is. Yeah.
All right.
That's what it is.
I don't know, Pete, if you can see that or not. Oh, no.
He'll see it now.
There it goes.
Bam, there it is.
Michael, good job.
Okay.
So yeah, it's got that chartreuse right along the bottom there, and then on the very bottom, it's an orange.
Orange.
And the top is a brown.
Definitely a chrome blank, a gold chrome blank.
Yep. But yeah, that's the style that I typically run for my mid depth cranks.
Mm-hmm.
It's an interesting bill. It's got that.
But if I could get something like that, but in like a June bug or a black blue, I think that would rock.
I'll definitely keep my eye out for those. I haven't seen those in my travels, but that doesn't mean they're not out there.
Okay.
Generally, there's a knockoff of every bait basically out there.
Oh, it's same thing in the plastics world. Like I said, literally the mold I got coming is an angling AI, but it's it's the Crest City Mayor is what it is. It's actually that one's different though because it was a 3.8, whereas the Mayor is like a 3.5, so it's a slightly bigger version of it.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm trying to actually get back into like paddle tails because I got away from them. I fished them heavily in the spring, and then I stopped fishing them throughout the summer for some stupid reason. I don't really know why. And I feel like I could have got onto more fish because there's nothing more natural than soft paddle tail. But I do want to actually. I'm gonna end up like it's gonna be expensive anyways. I'm gonna end up stocking up, but I want to get into like that. I guess it's a glide bait that you showed earlier, like that small gill style. But I want to get into some more like that kind of glide bait. Like I'm not gonna throw like a fucking 12-inch glide bait. That's just not my style. But like 8 inches and under, I'm comfortable with. You know,
like the smaller finesse stuff.
Oh, the Battalion.
And under.
Yeah, like Battalions. They're freaking like perfect size.
Yeah,
like
that.
Green crappie.
Is that a crappie?
Yeah, if you look at it, yeah, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. That looks good.
See stuff like that, you get that in like crappie or gill colors, and it's fucking money.
Yeah, the flakes don't come out, but these are all for the only store that I'm in right now.
Yeah.
At Dover Marine in New Hampshire.
Okay.
Yeah. He placed a decent order for Black Friday. And then didn't realize that I had like a whole series of new colors, so I placed a secondary order right behind it. Like,
nice.
I need these too.
So you gotta get to work.
Even the wife's over here watching your baits. she got to meet Pete in a parking lot bait deal. that was a Dollar General quick swap right before the tournament. When I ordered that jerk bait, I ended up showing up, and she's like, I'm like, I got to meet a guy over here to pick up some baits. And she's been married to me long enough to just fully understand that that's perfectly a normal situation for me to pick up 4 jerk baits in a parking lot at Dollar General. And that's actually, I think that's one of the coolest things about like having someone that makes custom baits and stuff is like you have this idea in your head. There's no way I've been thinking about getting an airbrush just for the fun of it, but like it takes so long to hone in to be able to do what you think you want the bait to look like, because it doesn't. What in your head, how it would come out when you paint it isn't how it comes out until you really get like, like I said, I played around with like, and I was hand painting like dots and shit I was doing like this splatter with the paintbrush thing and playing around with stuff, but like it didn't ever really like come out the way I wanted it to. Whereas like literally I can send Pete, like I've done it a couple times where I'm like, hey, here's a picture of a bait from their website. I want 2 of them. And he sends me back like this. And I'm like, yeah, exactly like that. Like that's not easy to just replicate something from a photo.
Oh, Pete has an eye, and you ask him for like, he had a color that he was painting, and I asked him to put that on a jerk bait, or other way around, take that color that you have on a jerk bait, put it on a crankbait. And it's not, you can't just take that pattern and just switch it from one to the other, because the shape's so different. But Pete just clicks it off, no problem.
Yeah.
That's where my OCD comes in to be helpful a little bit. I mean, I usually go so far as like on these perch, just a little tip. I'll spray one side with my, the perch lines or whatever. Then I know the top's going to be black, so I'll come in with my dotter with black paint and dot the center of each of those lines where I can see them, just so I can make sure the lines match on the other side.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I see that.
Stuff like that bugs me. If I look at the back and the lines don't line up, fish isn't going to notice.
Right.
90% of fishermen aren't going to notice, but same thing with the bills. I'm very OCD about taping the entire bill.
Yeah.
Yep.
I learned I learned that from Jekyll Bates. She said the same thing. Like, just take the extra 2 minutes, tape the whole bill. Don't just cheap out and throw it around there and leave the rest of the bill to get painted.
Right.
And it just looks unfinished to me, anyway.
Now, have you noticed a discrepancy? Like, can you overpaint a bait and affect the action of it? Like, can you put too many layers of paint on and have it affect it, or
not so much paint? I mean, if you get that much paint on it, your pattern's probably going to be garbage at that point anyway.
Okay, makes sense.
Like, but I imagine you can affect it with clear coat.
Okay.
But that's why the clear coat that I use now, the Tamco automotive clear coat, I can put on 2 thin layers doesn't affect the action
Okay.
that much. It adds very little weight, but you can throw it across the concrete.
I can confirm.
Like
I've flipped jerk baits into places. I hit rocks with jerk baits that matter of fact, that jerk bait I showed you guys, I hit a boat ramp with it because I casted way too close to the ramp and went up onto the ramp with it. So
I was sold the first time I bought the Tamco to try it out. What sold me was I painted a plopper and just did 2 coats on it. And when I threw it, I smacked it right off the side of a bridge. I broke the back and like I bent the whole back of it down so the plopper wouldn't even plop anymore, but not a mark on the paint.
Didn't mess the paint up. Yeah, that's
It
awesome.
Lord of hell, but it didn't mess the paint up. So I was like, yeah, this is my clear coat. I used to dip it in KBS, which can be nice, but it's it can be temperamental. It definitely adds weight, and you have to make sure the lure eyes are, the hook eyes are clear, like you were saying, or they'll just get gobbed up with a clear coat.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The most unuseful.
Because I feel like the ones that would be affected the most would be obviously, like you said, jerk baits. They're very temperamental because they're made to suspend or not suspend. And let's be honest, I mean, jerk baits are so sensitive that too big a split ring is going to affect how it fucking floats or doesn't float. So
line matters on a jerk bait.
Dude, it's well. The other thing I didn't realize, and I've learned it. I mean, I kind of knew it, but like water temperature too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like colder versus hotter water completely has a different effect on whether that bait suspends or not either.
Mm-hmm.
Which is something I never really thought about, but it makes sense because water's denser or thinner depending on the temperature. But
and as it gets colder, isn't it less less oxygen when it's warm?
I think it's less oxygen when it's warm, and the water's denser when it's cold. So it has a different buoyancy and shit. So. But yeah, that's something
you get asked quite a lot. Like, do yours suspend? And I was like, I've tested as much as I possibly can to make sure it suspends like where I'm at.
Right.
Now, if I ship this across the country and then you switch out a hook and then you put it on a different kind of line, I don't know.
Right.
Chances are it'll slow sink or slow float. I can't.
Now, do you vary like hook size based on the like if it's a 1+1 or +2 or whatever, or do you kind of just use the same hooks across the board on the jerk baits?
I generally use the same hooks except for I've been messing around with the juniors, the 95 millimeter of using a size 8 hook instead of a size 6.
Yep.
Just down to I figured it's supposed to be more finesse jerk bait. So,
well, those two you probably if you're using too big, they're gonna fucking. They're gonna make love to each other and catch each other. Because I hate that with like some baits, like some of the crankbaits I have, I've actually swapped out the front hook and made that smaller so that they won't lock to each other. Because sometimes you'll throw it and they'll lock to each other.
A little tip on that too. You might want to. I mean, you don't want to hook so big that it's gonna hook on the bill.
Right.
But if you're going to put a smaller, like if you're going to have one small hook and one bigger hook on here, put the bigger hook on the belly.
Okay.
It will steady the act. If you have the small hook here and a giant hook back here, it messes with the action.
It'll pull the bill down. That makes sense.
Having the bigger hook on the belly.
That actually makes sense. I didn't think about that, but yeah, that makes sense. See, I always thought like the smaller hook on the front because they're more likely to get the back hook, so the bigger hook on the back. But that makes sense. The big hook on the front's going to make it keel out a little bit better when it's swimming.
Yep. If you have that heavy hook in the back and it ends up riding a little up like this, then it might not come through stuff as well.
That makes sense.
Hook. So.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. And that's actually the difference between like a bait painter that fishes and a bait painter that just paints too. Because there is guys that paint baits that don't fish. They're really good artists, but they don't understand the nuances of like what a bait has to do in the water, what it has to look like in the water, what you're trying. Because at the end of the day, you're trying to imitate. I don't really think like sometimes I even put too much thought into color because like at the end of the day, if it looks like it's alive, bass are going to try and kill it, especially smallmouth.
Mm-hmm.
Smallmouth are just stupid aggressive in general, and they just want to kill shit anyways. But like, there is some nuance to. I have noticed. There's times where, and this is something I'm actually literally making, because part of Maine was saying, do I have enough stuff back here? Is I'm actually like, that camera mount is for filming bass class stuff. And one of the topics is like, sometimes, especially a perfect group to have this conversation with is being a little bit different with a bait, because if you got a tournament going on and 6 guys have come through with a square bill that they bought from Dick's, and you're throwing a square bill that's custom, yours is different than the 6 guys that came through with that other square bill. And that's where you kind of get that edge, is mine's not the same color pattern. Even if it looks different in the water, it's still, mine's not summer shad or sexy shad that everybody is thrown, 17 times to that same dock. Now I come through and show one of Pete's perch colors. It's something they haven't seen, so they haven't learned to be afraid of that color because it's something different.
Yeah.
And that's something that I've definitely learned about. Like, a lot of my custom baits are the ones I pull out when I'm like, okay, none of this shit's working. Let's see if this one works. And that's a lot of times what I catch on, is the stuff that's sometimes it's like the off wall shit. But
on my personal ones that I'm painting for myself, I'll, everyone kind of expects a black shad dot.
Yeah.
I just change the color to shad dot on mine.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Like, just something a little different. You never know what's going to trigger them. But if they've seen a bunch of these same baits go by with the same black shad dot, well, there's one with a red shad dot, kill spot.
Well, I've seen also like red eyes on baits too. Seemed like I've had some baits that have just the red eye instead of the black eyes or whatever, and I've definitely seen where that. I also think like that makes them hit the head, like makes them headshot it more.
Yeah, or the throat.
Theory's like a red hook.
Yep, I've done that too. Red hooks on the baits. It gives them like a different target to hit.
I was going to try to take you guys on a field trip to show my battery charger is really low with this.
Oh, is it getting low?
Yeah,
we can definitely have you on again too. We're definitely not shy about having. Hell, I've had Alex Rudd on here like 7 times. So like, I was actually, matter of fact, I was talking to Mikey 2 days ago, because I'm making a video series about like kind of in the same topic as like oddball, like doing like, I'm going to be doing a video series. I guess it's like kind of letting the cat out of the bag, but like I'm doing like a odd ways to fish baits, like, yo-yoing a chatterbait and like shit like that. And one of the things that he does with the jerk bait is he just reels it. Instead of like popping it, he just reels, pulls, reels, pulls, so it just does that, like, and then darts. And I was gonna do like a collab with him, but like I have like all kinds of people that I have on all the time, because it's just fun to have conversations. That's honestly the whole point of this podcast, was just to get excuses to talk to people on the internet about fishing when we can't fish. That's really the main reason behind it. But I geek out at like the science of like making baits and like playing around with stuff, because I have made some weird ass shit. I even bought like an inline spinner kit at one time in my life. And was like making my own inline spinners, because like it was just fun to play around with for a little while.
But I've modified my poison tail mold so I can make poison tail swim jigs and spinner baits out of the same mold.
That's cool.
And I have a poison tail swing tail mold, so it's just the head with the little thing to put the hook on.
Yeah, Picasso makes a cool like hybrid. It's a swim jig head that has like an inline spinner off the front of it. So it's like a swim jig, and then it's got like the wire with the blade, and then the hook to hook your line tie to. So it has like basically like an inline spinner with a swim jig behind it. So it's kind of like a chatterbait, but twist on it. And I've definitely had some success with that. It's like a Picasso thing that they do. I'm sure there's other companies that do it too, but that was actually, again, another dark horse. That was a bait that I got from them. So the one I got, the original one I got that was the Stoneman Sons was like a shad wrap, and it was like blue with like a black belly.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you ever remember making that one. I still have it somewhere here.
Yeah, they like you to have a name for the. Like, I've never named these baits. I named the patterns, but these aren't my baits. I don't name them.
Right.
They like to have a name on it, so they called it the Stone Slap or something.
Yeah, that's
Just
probably
like
what it was.
It's like the Karashi that we named that the sidestep.
Yep.
Which I generally don't do because it's not a bait. It's already an existing bait.
Yeah, it's an existing bait. You're just painting the colors. Yeah, that was still the first time I ever saw one of those. I got it in a Dark Horse subscription box, and I fished it on Fern Lake, and I caught like a couple small smallies on it. But that was like, I had no idea. That was funny because I saw that, and then when you ended up taking over Slay Nation last year, I was like, Pete Stoneman. I'm like, that. Where the fuck do I know that name from? And then I ended up finding out later that you were the Stoneman and Sons that I was getting baits from for 2 years from Dark Horse. So.
And we live like 20 minutes away from each other.
Dude, that's what's so weird about it. Like, yeah. Well, like Chris, the first time I met Chris like the year before we did Slay Nation at fucking Maury at the boat ramp.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just and the funny part is I meet a lot of people anyways, and sometimes, like, I'll admit, like, I'm a little, you guys have seen me at the boat ramp, so you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's like I'm fucking in a zone when I'm fishing. I'm in an entirely different planet when I'm on the water. Like, I've told people, like, when I'm especially, like, I told Bear the first season he fished with me, I'm hoping he comes back next year.
That'd be nice.
But, like, I told him, like, because we had fun fish together, and I was like, dude, you need to understand, if we're going to do tournaments together, I'm on a whole different fucking plane of existence when I'm doing tournaments. And he goes, I don't know what you mean. And I'm like, you're probably going to think I'm a prick because I am fucking dialed in until the end of the tournament. That's honestly why I really can't do the director thing, because I put myself, I might as well be playing in the fucking Super Bowl for a small local grassroots fishing tournament trail. Like, that's how my mentality is. So when I'm at a boat ramp, I'm like locked in and I'm in a different world. But like,
I put myself all the way into the tournament, at least until an hour and a half before line's out. If I feel like getting out of the water, I'm going to get out of the water.
Yeah.
See, the thing is like, so I placed in the money at Maury because I caught a fish with like 20 minutes left. Like, I've had so many tournaments that, so the last like 45 minutes of the tournament, I had my catch board already on the deck of my kayak, because I've had a few tournaments come down to literally catching the last fish within 3 minutes of the end of the tournament. So I have everything, like I have my phone camera on, my freaking catch board ready to go so that I can throw that fish right on there and take a picture of it. That actually happened at Carmi too, and I almost ended up in the money with that fish too, because I caught a fish with literally 3 minutes left to the end of the tournament. But I have had tournaments where I'm just like Salem, we stopped fishing half an hour before the end of the event. Matter of fact, I was right next to you when I quit. But
that went all the way to the end.
See, I was exhausted.
With me going back to the launch and sitting in my car. But after I caught a couple, I was going back to the ramp just to get close to the ramp, but I didn't have anything else that I could throw in however deep the deepest part of that lake was, except for a bait that got down to like 7 feet. And I was like, I don't care. Maybe somebody's stupid enough to bite it.
Yep.
Right.
Normally, right up until the end, like I'm normally casting right up until the end. That one, I was fucking exhausted because I had been paddling all day. But I have a bigger respect for Brad after having had to paddle for the entire greater portion of that fucking tournament. Because I was hooked to Bear a lot. So, like, I had an anchor that was a human that was able to drag me from place to place. He never even had that.
Right.
So he was constantly paddling. like that tournament made me consider putting a motor on my kayak for next year because that was fucking awful. That being said, if I get my boat fixed, I might just say screw it, and if it's a big body of water, then just use the freaking 18-foot bass boat that I have. But if somebody doesn't sell his trolling motor between now and then, I may be hitting him up for a trolling motor upgrade on the bass boat too. But
it's still available.
But
$3,000 cash, it's yours.
it's honestly not much different than I would pay for the higher end Tarova. So, and that's actually got a lot more.
Right.
Like that one's what 100 and something.
It depends which voltage you use.
Yeah,
that
the
one
20
you use either voltage.
volt, you're at 110 pound thrust. On the 24 volt, you're at 80 pound.
Still, that's
That's for your boat. That would be freaking more than enough.
Yeah, I want 80, dude. So St. Lawrence made me want 80 because we had a Bobby's was a power drive, which I think is a 55, and dude, he was on full tilt, and we were heading.
Yeah,
there you couldn't do, and his boat's only a 16-foot.
Yeah.
So my boat's 18 and a half. It's a little heavier, and it's the freaking classic tracker, John boat in the back, bass boat in the front style. So it like if it gets in the wave, it drags itself backwards. So like the one I have now, I've had days on Champlain with the one I have now, which is a 48-pound thrust that like I was full blast going into the wind, and he had that problem on Lamoille. Fucking wind picks up and I couldn't do shit. And I was like, yeah, I definitely I want to go overkill because I'd rather have too much power.
Yep.
And not need it and have to turn down the speed to go slower than not have enough power and be screwed. Because let's be honest, that big lake out there gets nasty real fast.
No, I mean, I just went ahead and mounted that thing to the kayak. It's going to be way, way too much for that particular boat. Even if I go on the 80-pound thrust, I feel like it's going to be too much. So if you want it, just let me know.
Yeah, it's something that I'm definitely considering because that's a Lowrance, right? So that would
the Recon.
Yeah. So, and that's probably, does that have the transducer already built into it too, or does it not?
It has, I think it has one.
I mean, it doesn't have, I know it's not going to have like the fucking active target, but it's probably got I have a Lowrance hook. That's why I'm saying that's what I'm going to be using on my deck. So I wouldn't even need a conversion or nothing for that. I can just plug it in.
The cords and everything for it. It comes with the NMEA connection. And
okay. Yeah. So and because I have the Hook 5 that I was planning on putting on the deck of my boat, and that would be perfect.
And it has the wireless foot control as well as the handheld. So, and I haven't, aside from making sure all the parts are in there, I haven't done anything with it. I mean, like I said, I mounted it to the. I got a new puck for my kayak, and then it's mounted to it, but it won't take 2 seconds to take it off.
Yeah, it's not a big deal. Yeah, because that's the big, last year the big money expenditure was the kayak. This coming year is going to be, I've already got most of the money saved to get the motor torn down, and I have zero mechanical ability, so I'm going to end up having to bring that to a boat doctor, but probably should anyways, considering I want to change my oil.
And get rid of that motor and then freaking get mine.
No, I mean the gas motor is fucked in my boat.
You mean the gas motor?
Yeah, the reason my bass boat's been sitting for 2 years is because I went to change my oil in the spring last year, and I had Yoo-hoo in my fucking engine oil, and I had
that's no good.
My lower unit grease was white, and the first part of the shit that came out of the lower unit was clear. So I got seals fucked all the way across the whole motor. So I need someone to literally tear it all down.
Yep.
And it'd be one thing if it was, I actually would be less concerned if it was the lower unit, because a lot of times those lower units is just to screw the freaking plastic nut that you seal the lower unit grease hole in. A lot of times that starts to leak and water gets in there. And once you change that, it's fine. But the fact that there was water in my engine oil tells me I've got head gasket or some fucking something up top that's not supposed to be getting water. So
Right.
You see what Bradley just said? He's about his 24 volt.
24 volt 70. Yeah, see, that's what I mean. Like, it's crazy. 24 volt 70 pound on a 16 foot. Yeah. And the thing is part of my motivation for getting the bass boat running, and part of the reason why I bought the bass boat in the first place, and I don't know why I never really just took the time to just actually fucking get it fixed. I think it was just I was bitter about it because I had it fixed and then it broke again. It ruined my Cayuga trip was what happened.
Mm.
So the whole backstory of that is I got the boat, ran it for a while, made this big plan. I was going to go fish all the Finger Lakes. Took a week, like almost 10 days off. One up there, I fished Cayuga, Otisco, Owasco, and I'm probably not pronouncing those right, but and on Owasco, I started hearing this like tick 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 like sound like crickets in the motor, and it only did it up to 2,000 RPMs, and it would go away, and then it wouldn't do it, and then it did do it, and then it wouldn't do it, and I was like, "Fuck." So then I ended up going out on this like small little reservoir, almost hit bottom because I was paying too much attention to the fucking motor and not where I was going, and called it. And I was like, okay, I can't take a chance. And we were actually supposed to do like kind of a half and half trip because my parents are coming up to do the Lake Ontario king salmon fishing thing. So I was going to have a really cool trip where half of this trip was going to be bass fishing, the other half was going to be king salmon fishing. Got home, took the boat out again. Wasn't doing it. And it had done this before on Chez Z in New York, and I brought it to fucking Champlain Valley Motorsports, and they supposedly tore it down, looked at it, found nothing wrong with it. So it did this like a bunch of times. Then let it sit for a year, took it out in 2024, fished it a couple times. It was fine. Didn't make the noise anymore. Come to find out, now looking up research, that was a fucking water alarm. It was an alarm in the motor telling me there's fucking water in my motor. And the reason why it didn't go off is because when I was using it, the water mixed in with the gas and oil and shit. So it wasn't detecting it as much because it wasn't floating on top anymore. So then I went to change the oil in the beginning of 2025. I was like, fuck it, I'll change the oil and get everything done. I haven't done this in a while. And as soon as I did that, clear came out. And I was like, oh, that was what was wrong. And anybody who's ever owned a boat, and Pete knows because he's been rebuilding one for a while, like there's never one problem with a boat. There's never like, oh, it's just this simple thing that you got to replace. It's always like, oh, well, yeah, you got water in your gas and this bushing and this bearing and this fucking impeller and this
break out another 1,000.
Yeah, so I'm saving a bunch of money, expecting them to be like, yeah, it's like $1,500 to fix this. Hopefully not, but it's probably going to be. And then that's partly why I just didn't fix it, because I was like, well, I fix it and then it breaks again. And then but that's my goal, is to fix the boat, get the upgraded trolling motor, and then take a bunch of, practice on, talk to Chris and get all the spots on Champlain that he's willing to share with me, and then start trying to catch some of those fish up there.
There's a lot of spots on Champlain.
Thing is, dude, I never really fished up north. Yeah. I fished up your way 4 times maybe, because I'm not going to go up there with my kayak, drive 2 hours to find that, it's rip roll.
Keep telling you, no matter where you go, I can get you on the lake, even in a kayak.
I'm fishing Champlain next year, 100%. I'm going to be spending some time, for a few reasons. One, because I'm going to have the boat, but also because I'm going to be doing my own monthly trails that I'm going to be running, and I want to be able to. Let's be honest, the best chance for me to get on bigger than average length fish is the big lake. I'm going to have some around here, but going back to bait painting, Pete, have you ever tried? I know some guys, I've seen guys do it as painting plastics. Have you ever played around with that at all?
Painting what?
Like, I've seen guys that actually like paint plastics, like they make the bigger swim baits and then they do some sort of like painting on those. you ever done that before?
I've tried that. That requires a totally different setup.
Does it?
Yeah, it requires solvent-based paint.
Okay.
Which actually comes with, like, I basically have to paint in my clear coat booth.
Gotcha.
Like, you need ventilation, like PPE, all that good stuff.
Gotcha.
Everything I paint with is acrylic, so while it's not great to breathe it in, and I have a mask that sits right next to me that I never put on, but it's not gonna kill me immediately. So.
Yeah, I actually asphyxiated myself painting my bathroom one time, so I completely understand the smell of that. But
I had actually at one point talked to when I learned that Rabid Baits was right there in Pulteney.
Yeah, dude, I didn't realize they were right there.
Went over to check it out. They may have moved since then because I think Dollar General bought. I'm not sure if they bought part of it or what, but I went over there just to check out the place, and they had checked out my Instagram and my website and everything, and I assumed I was going, just to see a little bit bigger plastics operation.
Right.
And then next thing I know, they had me filling out an application. They thought I was coming to get a job because they were looking for someone to do the solvent-based paints on some plastics.
Gotcha.
I was like, if it had been a better, like a full-time thing, and I might be working there now. But
yeah, it's funny. I met that dude. That dude worked at Dick's for a while in Rutland.
Mm-hmm.
I literally met him there.
Yeah, I met both the father and son when I was there, and then one time I was camping at Half Moon, and right next to our site, the father was over there, and we both recognized each other. We couldn't tell from where.
That's
and then
funny.
He saw my shirt. He was like, "Oh yeah!" And then I saw he was carrying like a thing of Rabid Baits. I was like, "Oh yeah!" So he gave me a few packs to try out. He said, "I've been killing them on Half Moon with these."
To see, what's funny is I haven't had a ton of. It's funny because when I talked to him, he was talking about their baits, and I was like, I haven't had a ton of success with these. I've had some success with them, but and you guys did not hear the name Half Moon. That was a lie. He's making that name up. That does not exist. That is actually. It's funny because I was there this year and didn't do shit. I had a bad year there this year. I think the water drop and the amount. I think a combination of. I heard that place froze almost solid.
Oh really?
I heard a rumor that guys went in there to ice fish it because guys actually sneak in there to ice fish it.
Mm-hmm.
They go in there with jet sleds and they ride them down the hill, and then they fucking ice fish the ramp. Like it's fucking like downcline all the way down, and they literally went in there and like all the edges were froze right fucking solid, so the fish could only be in that one center part. So I think it had a fish kill because there was not nearly the quality of fish in there that normally are in there. That is one of the coolest like places to bass fish ever.
It's one of my favorite spots.
That's actually where my channel started. That's literally the pond that the whole origin story of my channel was. My brother went out there to catch. He went out there with a sit-in kayak and a fucking Mep spinner and caught a 3-pound largemouth. And then me and him were fighting over the kayak for the rest of the camping trip, trying to catch freaking bass. And we were throwing fucking Mep spinners and chartreuse pepper yum dingers and just destroying fish because that place doesn't really get fished. It does, but not like it's a lot of bobber worm, like we look I look ridiculous out there. Because I got like full tournament set up with cameras on this 40-acre pond. Like it's not a very big pond at all. And I'm out there with.
I drove my old John boat since they don't have a launch there. It's when I had the launch wheel for my John boat, so I just rolled that right down the hill by the dock there.
Really?
People were looking at me like,
"Holy
set up for here!" I was like,
"Shit."
I had the launch wheel, so I just picked up the front and roll it down there just like you would a kayak.
That's funny. I didn't even think about that you had the John.
But I was standing up on the casting deck fishing Half Moon.
Oh, dude, I'm literally out there with 8 rods, 2 cameras, all my fucking gear, like, and I'm recording. And of course, there's sites all the way around that place. So like people are like staring at me as I'm like, okay, guys, so what we're doing today is we're fishing a jig, and they're like, who the fuck is this guy? But dude, that place is for a while I had my PB was there for a long time. That place is very fun to fish.
Last time we stayed, we were in one of the cabins.
Yep.
You know, around over by the launch, and there's that little cove that goes all the way back there. So I just pulled my boat up there. I was able to push it off and go out. But my son was back there fishing in that little cove. It was maybe 6 inches of water, and he had a bluegill on, and it was wrapped around something. And while I'm trying to deal with it, I had him holding the rod, and then I watched this 5-pounder just swim up, like looking at the bluegill. I said, "Porters, wait!" 5-pounder smacks it, and now he's got a 5-pound bass on a kid's rod,
dude.
So he got to see your work. My tablet's dying.
Okay. Wow, it looks like he dropped off completely.
Oh,
we lost him.
Well, at least he's not making too bad of a face.
I'm gonna remove him and see if he comes back. He might be able to find his charger, but so Chris, you're still fishing.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I hope I can this weekend, but yeah, I went Sunday.
And you went to that pond, like that, my slot pond.
Your slot lake, yeah. Slot lake. I didn't catch a ton of fish. I was trying to kind of pre-fish, take my dad there and catch some perch because I got on some, like, I only landed one the other day, but it was an 11. And so that's where I went up pre-fishing. But yeah, I ended up with 3 smallmouth, largemouth, smallest fish was 16. And then I got that one really nice perch. And I could have caught more perch. But I was just, when I find this pod of them, I was just trying to figure out where the pods were moving. So if I took my dad there, I would know where to go.
Dude, I didn't realize how fucking big the pike are in there.
Oh, there's some really big pike in there.
Like,
you don't catch a lot of them, but there are some really big.
Dude, the whole time that place is becoming. So I used to fish Kent Pond a lot up here.
Yeah.
And that was like my go-to for catching a lot of fish. It's a cool pond because like it's small, but you can catch like 12 to 14 inches. You probably fish Kent Pond, Pete. Have you ever
I've caught 1 fish in 3 trips at Kent Pond.
Really? Dude, I used to go up there. That's actually the first pond I ever caught 2 fish on 1 bait. But like that pond, as a matter of fact, that's literally the trip my motor fucked up. That was the first place I fished after, and I caught the 2 fish on the 1 lipless, and it kind of like washed away all the pain of my boat being broken. But that place is actually the first place I ever fished a slot tournament, and I ended up placing 3rd. But the pond you're talking about, dude, like I've caught so many smallmouth and largemouth there, but never really caught any freaking like decent pike. I caught little ones, but that I caught a fucking like 30 something incher on a fucking tube.
Yeah.
On 10-pound test.
Yeah, that's why they don't get caught a lot, is they drop out of the flats quick. They'll be up there early, and then they disappear.
He was actually the one I got. Kind of made sense because I was crossing from. So there's the ramp. I was on the opposite shoreline of the ramp, and I was crossing to that first house.
Yeah.
And I was just throwing a freaking tube, just like throw it, cast, let it sink, move up, throw it, cast, just to kind of cover water.
Yeah.
And he freaking pounded that tube.
Yeah.
And I mean, it makes sense because there's a lot of grass in there. But yeah, it's.
Yeah, that's where you'll catch them, especially in the spring, is where that grass is growing.
Well, I was thinking like that's probably, if I was going to ice fish it, that's probably where I'd go, is where it drops, where that grass edge is, and it drops.
Yeah,
because it does have a wicked ledge right there.
Yeah, and right now there's the school, the perch are right there on that edge. They're not 10 to 30 in a school. They're 2 to 5 in a school.
Yeah,
but they're right there, right on the edge right now. So
yeah,
I would assume that'll load up a little better. The only problem is, as you know, that's the easiest access. So
you're gonna have people
doing that area gets fished pretty heavy.
Well, and you would think that too, but like where I fish at Carmi,
right? I'm
surprised there's not more people there.
Yeah,
because like, don't get me wrong, I'm sure there's better spots, but the first thing I'm going to admit about ice fishing is I'm fucking lazy.
Don't want to walk.
I'm not fucking hoofing it 2 miles across the goddamn lake chasing walleye. Yeah, it's fun and it's cool to catch them, but like if I can catch smallie walleye and pike 50 yards from the ramp, I'm not going a mile off the lake. I would rather have a slower day and catch less fish than have to huff. I actually bought a bigger sled. This is how ridiculous shit's getting. Dude, I'm buying a underwater camera so I can film some stuff, which is underwater camera. I will tell you guys, if you can afford to buy one for ice fishing, it is such a sneaky tool because you can scout, you can drill a hole, scout the area, see what's there for structure. And the other thing that's really cool about it is like for summertime, you can see where shit is. Like when you go back in the summer, you'll be like, oh, there's a rock pile here. Because in the wintertime, there's a lot more clarity. And you can see stuff that you didn't know was there in the summertime. But like my plan is to try to like I bought the big jet sled. Like the 6 foot fucking ridiculously big jet sled because I'm not going with my diesel heater instead of propane this year.
Oh yeah.
Because the problem with the propane ones is they put so much condensation on the inside of a fucking fishing shanty that halfway through the day you can't even see out because it's like a sauna in there. Whereas the diesel heat is actually a dry heat, so it doesn't like fill it up with moisture. And it's actually better heat. It's more heat. It puts out more BTUs than the diesel or the propane. But so I got that, the freaking auger, the tip ups. Like I was always that guy that's like, yeah, I'll go ice fishing if somebody else is bringing the stuff. And now I'm the asshole bringing the stuff, trying to get people to go with me because I'm like, oh, I want to go fishing. Pete, you should go ice fishing. I know you love ice fishing.
I hope you got like one of those tiny homes with a fireplace and 3 TVs and a bar.
Right.
I mean, it's not a tiny home, but the shanty. It's funny how what the difference like just a simple shanty would make though. Like I bought a little Frable, freaking. It was actually just a cheap one, but just getting the wind off of you makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I don't see me being able to, even if I was catching fish, I can't just, it's not the way I fish when I'm out on my boat. I'm constantly moving. I can't just sit there at a hole and.
Right.
See, that's how I was, and that's how I still am when I ice fish. But what I end up doing is a lot of times when I'm by myself, I don't even set the shanty up because what I'll do is if I have specific areas that I know I'm going to catch fish, I'll set tip ups there. And then I fucking punch like 50 holes around that place because I'm like, oh, I'm going to jig here. Nope, no fish. Okay, I'm going to go over here. And then I like dink and dunk all over the place, kind of like I do when I'm freaking wacky rig fishing in the summertime. But that's what's nice about the camera is the camera gives you the ability to drill a hole and drop it down, and you get a pretty good view of like a 30-40 yard stretch of like, okay, yeah, there's no perch here. Move on. Keep going. Okay, there's some perch here. And once you find fish, like Chris was saying, like the cool thing about the wintertime is once you find a school of fish, they're there.
Yeah.
They may cruise out and come back, but as a general rule, if you find a pod of freaking fish, they're not going to be far away again. And the next time you come back there, they'll be there again because they don't move very far in the wintertime. They're so docile that's what's cool about it. But I will tell you 100%, I ask everybody to go ice fishing with me because I'm bored out of my mind if I don't have somebody to talk to and hang out with while I'm out there. It's purely ice fishing started out for me as like something to do, and then it started out as from the content side of okay, my ice fishing content actually does really well. So I was like, okay, cool. I'm gonna make some cool footage and do some collaborations with like bear fishing and some people. And then slowly but surely, like everything else in fishing, I went from my dad's tip ups that he gave me that he's had for 20 years and the hand auger to now I have a freaking Strike Master auger and a shanty and a heater and tip ups. And I'm looking at jig rods and cameras. And
I
Because
don't need that extra expense.
no, it's not worth it, dude. Honestly, that's why I try to get people to go with me, because I'm like, dude, I have the gear. Hang out with me for 2 hours and go home. Because what I do when someone fishes with me too, I only set up like I'll set up like, because you can have 8 tip ups, well, 8 lines.
Mhm.
So if you're jigging, you can have 7 lines. I will set up 8, and if somebody's with me, maybe I'll get to 10 or 11. But if they want to leave, I just pull the 3 and keep fishing. But like that way, it's not like they feel like they have to stay because I could put 20 because I'm ridiculous, but I have enough gear to put 20, but I just don't, because that's the biggest problem with ice fishing is picking up at the end of the day. Setting up isn't even bad, but Chris can attest. Chris is nodding because he knows exactly what I mean. Like, there's nothing more exhausting than fishing all day in the cold, being tired, and then realizing you've got to go wrap up fucking 20 tip ups, a fishing shanty, and then drag that thing 50 yards back across the lake to your truck. But that being said, Dad has a four-wheeler.
You're not really selling me on it there, Mike.
No, it's I completely assumed you weren't gonna do it. Yeah, you'll be painting anyways.
That's true.
That's what the winter time is for, is bait making, man.
Trying to figure out how to flip this. When I was on my tablet, it had a thing to flip my camera to the front camera, but
Oh yeah,
I mean the back camera. So it appears I'm still not going on a field trip to show you the other bait stations. Probably just as well because they're a wreck.
we can have you come on another time too, and we can do a tour. Honestly, what we may do is maybe I'll just come up there. Maybe we'll make a video. Yeah. I know we were talking about that at one point, me coming up and.
Yeah, I'll get an airbrush in your hand.
There you go.
Actually, dude, that'd be kind of fun because I could also make some jig heads too at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
I can bring the lead.
That might be the move.
Dude, Spawn podcast live on location.
Yeah, dude, that might be the move. Come up and fucking make some baits. And dude, I've tried making like plastic. So with plastics, I always wear a respirator because that shit fucks my lungs up bad. I don't know what it is about it, but like if I breathe in that plastisol shit, my lungs hurt for like a week. So I always wear it, and I tried doing lives with it, and it's like, hey guys, I can't talk to you because you can't hear me. So, but Jesse, have you played around with pouring baits or anything?
Fuck no, I have never done anything with that stuff.
Really?
Yep. No, I looked into it, and so
there we go.
Like what you were talking about earlier. As far as like the cost associated with it, you're not really saving anything.
No, you do over time, but the initial cost is steep.
Yeah.
Because you need a microwave. Granted, you can find a fucking the smart thing to do is go on like Facebook Marketplace, and somebody's usually giving one away because you don't really care what the condition of it is because you're not cooking and food in it afterwards.
Yeah.
You need the molds, but the problem with the molds is the good CNC molds are $100, $200 depending on what you're getting.
Oh yeah,
a lot of them.
Yeah, I looked into it, and like especially the ones off the Tackle Warehouse, it's like holy shit.
So rabbit hole, you should see my fucking shed. I have Senko, ring fry, about 6 different swim baits, top pour swim baits, jerk bait mold, 3 craw molds, which I actually want to get another craw mold because the problem with craw molds is what they say the size of that thing is not what the size of that thing is.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're like 3-inch craw, and the thing's like the size of my fucking palm, and I'm like, that's not a 3-inch craw. The body of it's 3 inches, and then the claws are another 3 inches.
Yeah, I know. When I read the NetBait pack-a-chunk, like senior, and it's like, oh, it's 3 1/4 inches. I'm like, okay, I should be able to stick that on the back of my dude. This thing is like enormous.
Yeah, I've got
hell.
So I want to get a smaller craw because my goal next year is actually to try. I've always slowly other than Maxent, Maxent's the only worms that I fished that I bought. Most of the other worms I fished were ones I made.
Yep.
It's paddle tails the same way. That's where it gets. The reason why I got the molds was because, and Pete can probably attest for this from people ordering from him, is like colors I couldn't get because I wanted a specific green pumpkin paddle tail, like the Kitech green pumpkin. No one sells it. Can't get them. And when they do show up at the local Dick's or Walmart, they're gone in a day because everybody buys them. So I was like, well, fuck it. I'll buy a mold and make my own. Problem is, I still haven't really truly mastered that color yet. What I should do is I should talk to like Matt. I should talk to somebody like that actually pours them and like ask him like how to match a color and like what's a good combination of colorants and shit. But because the other thing I learned about like the plastic baits is like the sneaky thing that I learned is that I don't use the liquid colorant. I use fucking mica powder because it's a hell of a lot cheaper. Now, if you want to make it translucent, you need to use the liquid. But like a lot of the baits that like my black one that I pour, I just use black mica powder because you can buy that shit cheap. I'm sure Pete's like knows about it. I don't know. Like with paint, I'm assuming like your paint's like all specific. Like you have to like, do you mix paint or do you have like colors and then you blend colors?
I have colors I mix, but in the interest of time, I try to have as many colors as I possibly can and get the color that I want by layering rather than mixing a whole batch of color.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Which, I don't know, it doesn't necessarily lead to, consistency with the color when I'm painting multiple baits, but I like my favorite patterns I've written down on like basically like a recipe container.
Yep.
That's got all the 3x5 cards in it. That way I can be consistent with just, spray this lightly over this color to get this color.
I got to do that more with plastics. That's my goal for this year is I experimented way too much. And like I said, half of those fucking plastic bins are full of like experimental colors. And what's going to happen is a lot of those experimental colors are going to get remelted. That's one cool thing about plastic. That's one benefit that people don't talk about with the plastics is like if you get a bunch of like yum dingers that get broken in half, you can just go remelt them and make another yum dinger out of them, which can be beneficial. But I'm going to melt a bunch of shit down and just put black in it and just make them black. So like you'll have black with random glitter assortments, but I can make a lot of black different color baits that will probably work when I get colors that just didn't work at the end of the day. But not writing down recipes with plastics, and I'm sure the same thing happens with bait painting, it's really hard to then like, how the fuck did I make that brown or that blue or that color? Because if you don't remember, it's like, was it 5 drops or 3 drops? And did I do this or did I do that? And it just doesn't ever come out the same. The other thing I did, which is cool with the plastics, is like I actually pour a lot of clear with this heavy glitter. So it gives it like that translucent type look, but then it's got like the black or whatever glitter in it. So it like, but it's hard, like you said, it's also like I can't make it consistent because I have to stir the shit out of it and pour it real fast because that glitter settles and then you never really get 2 baits don't look the same, but that's kind of sometimes the advantage.
Yeah, I haven't done anything with plastics in quite a while.
I think it's a rabbit hole a lot of people go down that like I didn't do it to make money. I did it because I was like, I want to buy this and I want to buy that and I can just make it. And then, like I said, I end up buying baits anyways because I made them and I didn't like the color that I made. So then they end up not getting fished.
Yeah.
If you're looking for some decent plastic molds that won't break the bank, I don't know if you've checked out baitmolds.com.
I've seen their site.
Yeah, every week they have like a special. Usually it's like 50% off a certain series of molds.
Okay.
Like 50% is a lot off of a CNC mold.
That's like,
Yeah.
They generally offer them in like, you can get them like 1 cavity, 2 cavity, 8 cavity. and they'll all be 50% off. But like this is one I got from them. I just called this the punch bug. This is like a beaver style bait.
Yeah.
And where I'm making it for myself, 2 cavity is fine.
Yeah, I don't. The thing I found was like the only thing I really want a big cavity count for is like swim baits, like paddle tails and stuff like that. I'm going to be pouring a lot of them. But like if you're doing like a beaver, a craw, a jerk bait, you're actually better off with like just 1 or 2 cavities because the plastisol hardens almost too fast for those baits because you're pouring so much in each one that like having like 8 cavities, you need a fucking huge insulated injector to really be able to use it right.
Yeah. Yep. My injector is like cheap Amazon injector. I need to upgrade it.
I want to get, but it's expensive. Is Anglin AI makes a fucking insulated one. So he has, it's like, I forget what it is. It's like ceramic insulated on the inside. So basically the mold, the plastic doesn't really get cold while you're pouring. And it's like a bigger, I think it's like it's a bigger ounce. Like it's a pretty good size one. But it's also like $200 or some freaking ridiculous like price for it. I'm trying to save money. I don't want to buy it. Because I've tried like dual injecting too, and I always end up fucking it up.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I should have never bought that. That mold was like, or that injector was like $30 on Amazon. I think it was called Freeform or something.
Yep.
I knew it was going to be garbage, but I bought it anyway. Which is the same kind of thing. Like when I wasn't sure how much I was going to get into airbrushing, so I bought like a $20 airbrush when I started, and quickly learned this is not going to work.
Yeah,
it's making it harder. So I went ahead and bought a decent airbrush.
Yeah. I will say the
Surprising how much easier things got.
The Do It Molds injectors are pretty solid.
Mm-hmm.
I've got those. The Walmart, they're the Walmart or not Walmart. The Amazon ones are. I bought one of those, and it's the gaskets and stuff in them. Like they get air in them. Like they push air into the baits, and then it ends up like. Because that's the thing that you don't think. And that's the thing. I also don't like vacuum mine or nothing either. Like I'm making them for myself, so like. I heat them up hot enough. I stir them, I pour them, and then I put them back in the microwave and I heat them up again. And I probably burnt the shit out of half of the plastic that I poured, and I'm not selling it, so I don't really care. But so
what I'd like to mess with at some point is painting. Well, it's not painting, but kind of is like pouring. Like a skin coat in a swim bait mold for plastics, and then painting a design in there and then injecting it or pouring it behind it. I don't know if I'll ever get that ambitious, but I'd like to try it.
The who the hell was that? World's Worst Fishing or whatever. That dude does he has what I have done, and it's pretty cool, is you can paint the inside of the mold with mica powder.
Yeah.
And then pour clear in, and a lot of times it almost stays, but every time I did it, it kind of ran a little bit. I tried that skin thing because I have top pour molds that I can do that with.
Yeah.
The open pour stuff looks a hell of a lot easier than it is because the tops always get fucked up. Like I've never been able to really get consistently able to pour the top and not have it like dip in. Like when it starts to, it's like curved when you fill it, but then as it dries, it settles and it actually has like a dip in it.
Yeah. I've tried some. I have a few open pour, but they're all silicone.
Yeah.
That I bought from other bait makers. There's like this Gobi one.
Oh, that's cool.
That's hard as hell to pour.
Yep.
This little crawl is hard as hell to pour.
Yeah, the thing I learned from watching videos, and I got to do it more, is I actually bought it, is you need a like hot plate. You have to get the actual mold form because if it's cold when you pour it, it like settles weird. Especially if you're doing like 2-color because they don't laminate right. And then you can literally pull them apart. But that's, I guess that's literally the whole theme of this podcast is the rabbit holes you go down when you're making your own shit. But dude, I have blanks around here somewhere. I don't know what the hell they are. I don't even know if they're good or not, but I've fished them. But I bought a bunch of like weird blanks. That's what I was thinking about. I have that whole box. I have that box is the crankbaits that I just held up. That's like half of what I own. I got like 3-4 more of those freaking boxes. Yeah, those are.
All these are
Full of
loaded.
yeah.
That one's empty. But yeah, that's crankbaits, jerkbait. I don't even know what's down there. That's random stuff that I should probably just. Yeah, if you do get an airbrush, let me know. I have some blanks. You're more than welcome to have.
Okay.
I have stuff I'm never going to sell or never going to use.
Okay. Yeah, it's something that I was thinking about playing around with just because I do enjoy in the off season. Like it's fun to just like go out there and throw a podcast on and just play. And just like I said, I've made so many weird, and some of them worked. Like I've had success on some of the colors. Like that black and green was just literally I grabbed the wrong glitter by accident. I was trying to make black blue fleck and I just wasn't paying attention and I dipped the freaking measuring spoon into the wrong glitter. And I was like, oh, that actually looks pretty cool. And then I ended up using it and I was like, oh, that's now literally a color I pour every year. But I've done shit like I made a freaking Rasta one for a buddy that wanted like fucking Rasta colors. I like ended up like pouring a bait and then cutting it and then pouring it and cutting it, pouring it and cutting it so I could make like literally colors all the way up the worm. So I've done all kinds of weird shit like that too. But yeah, we're going on almost 2 hours now. I don't have to work tomorrow, so I can keep talking, but I'm sure these guys want to get back to their regularly scheduled.
Yeah, I'm getting
nap time.
I'm wearing down.
So, but we will have.
Wanted to show you real quick. That's primarily my paints that I use. Where is it? The camera's mirrored.
Yeah,
Yeah.
here. Yeah.
So,
that's crazy, dude. Yeah, I think that's the idea, dude. I think one of these weeks, even if it's just a bonus episode, I'll come over there with a laptop or something, and we can do a live stream. And I'll bring my phone around as an extra mobile camera, and we can do a little bait making live because I think it'd be fun to make a freaking. I have debated on the lead part because I fish a lot of swim jigs and I lose a lot of swim jigs because of fucking pike.
And that can actually, after the initial investment, it'll definitely save you money.
Yeah, that's one I want to look into because Chris is gonna laugh and he's gonna smile and it's gonna make me even madder. I need to learn how to fish the Ned better. It's a fucking bait I need to fish more. It is. It's actually why part of I'm fishing on Saturday with Bobby and he's really into BFS and I'm thinking that I might start throwing Ned rigs on BFS because you'll be able to feel fucking everything.
That Mark that just popped in here? Northeast Bass Fishing?
Yeah. Yep.
Have you seen his tackle room?
No.
Go watch his YouTube videos.
Yeah.
He got more tackle than most medium-sized tackle shops.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
What you don't see is that's getting restocked. I just haven't put it all back.
Mark has like walls.
You take those
like walls upon walls, and every peg is full, and they all take
those expo slat walls or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think he's got like 6 of them.
At least.
Like, yeah, he's low on tackle, like you said.
Yeah.
Dude, and that's what's crazy about this sport though, is like half of this shit, some of this shit's been here for a long time and I haven't used it. And I'm still like, oh, I'm going to go to a trade show and buy some more because
Pete comes out with a new color and Mark buys one of it, or not one, two of everything in that color. Like,
well, I will say that's one thing I will advocate for. And a lot of my channel is based on like fishing on a budget, which I've kind of gotten a little bit out of touch on that because I waste a lot of money on stuff. But if you're going to buy baits, buy two.
Yeah.
Never buy one because
he gets two of the 1.5, two of the 2.5, two of this, two of that, two of that. Like,
because if you buy one,
the willies.
The only good thing about buying one is you can almost guarantee that that's going to catch fish. But the problem is it's also going to guarantee that you're going to lose that bait and you're never going to find that pattern again.
As a bait maker, I second that. Buy two.
Right.
It's true though. Like, it's funny because I've learned that, like, especially if you have a color you like, go buy 2-3 more of them because they will fucking disappear. Like, that's one of the reasons why I had Pete make me that jerk bait and the crankbaits that I had him make me, because it was a bait that the color was discontinued. I cannot buy it anymore. And I wanted to have some backups because I know, especially if you live in the northern waters where you have freaking pike, pickerel, walleye, things with teeth that just will take those baits, because a lot of times with crankbaits, you're fishing them on fluoro. You're not fishing them on braid. So then you're losing them. Even braid. I lose fish on fucking braid or pike on braid all the time.
Or
the big pike will pop
braid.
braid.
It destroys whatever you got.
See, I've never caught a bowfin before. That's one of my bucket list fish.
Fishing with me. I can do that.
Oh, dude, we're going to do some fishing next year because you've got some spots and some species that I'm going to be doing actually in May, as a matter of fact. I can't remember what weekend it is, but the Jigs and Bigs scavenger hunt. I think I'm going to enter into that in May.
That might be fun.
And you should enter into it too. It's like, it's going to be, so the way he's doing it, I'm the fucking director and I keep saying him. It's a week long. And you basically catch as many species as you can. And one of the species is like the bowfin category. Yeah. There's different trout species. There's pike. And the thing is, I need to catch as many species as I can in a week. And I live in Vermont. Where's the best fucking place to catch as many species as you can in a single short period of time is fucking Champlain. Like, there's no better lake in this state to go get everything because Champlain has all of them.
Right.
So I'm thinking I might try to link up with you and
come
up there. And
there's actually a species of fish I've caught that you haven't, right?
Dude, there's a lot of species.
The first year I was up here, I caught a bowfin and had no idea what it was until I looked it up on my phone when I pulled it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's Bobby actually. Speaking of
that. Right.
There's the man right there. Yeah, no. So the cool thing about the scavenger hunt is, like, if you enter into any of the opens, then we're doing a championship. Like, that's actually gonna be the same week as the championship is in May. So if you do any of the opens, you qualify for next year's championship tournament, which is a bigger money, but that's like a 48-hour. So it's like a wicked difficult challenge. But you probably caught snakehead too, right, Pete?
Yes.
Because you got where you come from, that's like
down
snakehead central, yeah.
Which are, I mean, actually, after catching the bowfin, I realized they're very similar.
They're very similar.
Yeah.
Their face, the structure of their jaw is a little different, but they both like fight like hell and will not give up.
The fins are different too. The bowfin anal fin is very different compared to the snakehead, where it's like one long fin.
Oh yeah.
It's
both of those.
I don't know.
List for sure.
I don't know if bowfin are as durable. Like, the snakehead. A lot of people obviously know they can live out of water for a while. But one of them I caught, pulled him up, got him in the grass, got him off the hook, and just to get him, like, he was flopping around while I was fishing. I look over and he's 15 feet away. So then I went and took a knife and just stuck it right through the top of his head, pinned him to the ground with it. Mm-hmm. When I took that knife out, he still tried to move away.
Wow.
like 10 minutes later, I pulled the knife out, and he was like, "No, I'm gonna walk off now."
Yeah, Janelle called me. She caught a snakehead down in Jersey. It was a big one too. And
Yeah.
she called me, and she like fucking basically dragged this thing out of the water, threw it up on the front of her kayak, paddled all the way to fucking shore, got up on shore, screwed with this fish. It was still thrashing, like it was still fighting.
Oh yeah, they'll live for a while.
So for a while, they were like paying people to get rid of them too, right? Or trying to.
Yeah, well, in Maryland, which is the first place they kind of, spread. I think they're starting to figure out they didn't hurt the ecosystem as much as they thought they were going to.
Right.
Yeah.
While they do eat, and both the parents guard the fry. A lot of fish come around and eat those fry, like bluegill. They tear them up.
Yeah.
The parents simply can't guard from all the fish that want to eat them. So,
right.
Really, they're kind of almost a trophy fish at this point. Like they'll recognize a trophy snakehead down there now.
See, I'm not an advocate for. Matter of fact, literally my most popular video right now. By the way, I'm getting fucking lit up about that fucking smallmouth on Hortonia. In my comments, they're like, "Oh, it's a mean mouth," and I'm like, "Well, first of all, it's not a fucking mean mouth. It's going to have spots."
Right.
And they're like, "Oh, wow, birds transport eggs," and I'm like, "A 16-inch smallmouth doesn't just suddenly fucking show up in a lake." Like I had to stop looking at the comments because they're like, "How do you know it was put there illegally?" It's like, well, I have probably 200 hours a year minimum on this lake and never even seen a fucking smallmouth in here. And then I catch a 16-incher in 3 feet of water in submergent grass where a smallmouth normally wouldn't be.
Right. And I'm not a great fisherman, but I fished hard for smallmouth on that lake because it has my smallmouth water, perfect smallmouth water.
That
I
lake
did not catch one smallmouth.
Mike, you know where that smallmouth came from? It came from Pensioner.
No, you know where it came from, dude? I can tell you exactly what happened and this is something that I'm going to say is going to piss off a bunch of people if they happen to see it, is that fucking New Hampshire trail that keeps coming and doing tournaments on Hortonia moved it from Bombazine. I fucking guarantee it. They're moving fish from Bombazine because there's a bass boat trail that fishes every few weeks on Hortonia. And they put like 12 boats in there. And I guarantee they went and pre-fished on Bombazine and fucked around over there, grabbed a couple smallies, threw them in their live well because it was right in the access area. And I think Jason caught it this year because Jason caught it about 40 yards from where I caught it. Now, the funny part is, it seems like in the video, because I am kind of mad about it to an extent because it's my home lake, I would fucking love it.
Right.
If that had a smallmouth population on top of the largemouth that live in there, that lake can sustain both. It has frogs. It's got plenty of bluegill. It's got plenty of panfish. It's got bullhead. It has the biodiversity to support both species. And like Chris said, there's an entire other half of that lake that I never fish that would be a fucking smallmouth Disneyland.
Absolutely. Spawning area, that whole
that whole back side
summer area, that whole other side.
The ramp here, over here would be smallmouth fucking Disneyland, and then largemouth here. It would be lights out. The problem is, it would also take half of that traffic from Bombazine away from Bombazine once people figured it out, and I'd never be able to fish it because I'd be fighting with people at the fucking boat ramp, which is why I go to that ramp to get away from the people at Bombazine.
Right.
We know that first event of our first Slay Nation series on Hortonia, Matt and I were coming up. We were all the way at the other end of the lake from the launch.
Yep.
We were coming up I guess it would be the east side where it seems a little deeper.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we saw what looked like to both of us a dead smallmouth floating on the surface.
Really?
Yeah.
So that was the year I did catch one in there.
And he did have I could have sworn it didn't look like a largemouth he had hooked that got off. It looked like a smallmouth. And at that point, we had no idea there was no smallmouth in there.
So rumor has it, and this is what's interesting, is they used to have smallmouth in there. is
Yeah,
not
that's
even
why
close.
that's why I fished so hard for them, as we saw that.
So it used to have smallmouth in there, and I think something happened, or maybe they stocked them and they just didn't take. The thing about that particular lake is that the pike would help to keep things regular. There is big enough pike in there. There's fucking massive pike in there. Like I've caught 40 inches in there. Like I'm not worried about the smallmouth outcompeting the largemouth. I'm really not, because the pike would help keep the population low, and the largemouth, honestly, there's big enough largemouth in there to eat the fucking smallmouth too. The only thing I'm concerned about is the human pressure. It's not even the fish problem that I'm worried about, but I keep getting lit up in the comments. They're like, well, how do you know that fish was? I'm like, a 16-incher doesn't just suddenly show up, but they could be in there and I just haven't been catching them. But
I find it hard to believe you haven't caught any in all the time you spent on that lake.
Dude,
Right.
Janelle got so pissed at me when she came up. Bear, same thing. First time so that first tournament, when Bear fished it with me, we practiced it the weekend before. And I was like, so I want you to take this bait and cast it over to that lily pad. And he caught a fish. And he goes, what the fuck? And then I brought Janelle there, and I was like, okay, I want you to take this Senko. And I went by the island right there by the access. And I was like, okay, see that tree right there? Throw it to the left side of that tree. She threw it. She didn't catch anything. I said, okay, that's fine. Go 3 feet to the right of that tree. And she caught a fish. And she goes, what the fuck? And I'm like, they're all my pets, dude. I've fucking fished here so much. I'm like, I've got them all fucking named. Like, there was a time I caught the same 5-pounder on the same dock 3 weeks in a row. And I know the same one because he had a fucking black mark. Yeah, he had a black mark on his jaw, and I caught the same one 3 weeks in a row. Like, the thing is it's actually, I don't want to say it's not fun to fish there, but that's why I started doing tournaments, because I'm good at that lake, and I probably will get beat on that lake if we do another tournament there, because I know a lot of people are like fucking gunning for me on that lake. But like, that's why I started doing tournaments, because yeah, I can catch fish there very rarely do I blank there, but I get my ass kicked on Chitin and Rez. I get my ass kicked on Carmine because I don't know how to fish other lakes. And that lake is a grass fishery. You have to know how to fish grass. If I get in rock, I'm fucked. And that's what I need to learn. And that's actually what I really need to work on more. That's why I want to learn the Ned rig and certain baits, because I need to figure out how to fish hard bottom and not just run a swim jig through the grass and know the specific spots that they live because they've been there for 3 years.
Right.
I've watched some of these fucking bass grow up. Like, I swear to God, some of them have hook marks that are permanent in their face from when I caught them when they were spawning. But it's seriously like generational fish. Like, I literally have like 4 or 5 spots that I can go out there that I can be like, yeah, there's a fish right here.
All right.
So yeah. We will we'll call it a night. We'll definitely get Pete back on here for another show soon. If not me there doing a show. It's not like he lives that far away.
Yeah, we can do. I mean, right before the show.
If you don't get here, maybe we can do. I'll just try to set something up, and I'll just paint while you guys talk.
Dude, you'd be surprised how much people.
If you want to see that? I don't know.
Dude, no, there's.
It's not overly exciting, but I do like painting when people are just yelling out which color next. Like just let the audience design a pattern. I'll paint it.
That's not a bad idea either. I bought a life scope. Oh yeah, Ken. Dude, that's a misconception too. This is a misconception I fell for. It does not necessarily improve your ability to fish deep, let me tell you. For sure. But
it can.
Oh, I caught more fish offshore this year than I did in the last 2 years. For sure.
On your slot lake, you're gonna you get it dialed in, you're gonna
wait till spawn.
Yeah.
I don't see myself ever buying live scope just mainly because of the cost.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why
if I can upgrade my down scan and side scan, I can probably fish deep just as effectively.
Pretty close, yep.
Yeah.
I mean, as long as you can see structure, I think
you're all right.
You know what's funny, dude, is that's mostly what I'm using mine for.
Yeah, I think I'd get way too frustrated watching fish swim up to it and swim away.
It just makes me way more efficient. That's the difference, Pete. Like,
That-
and I still like on Salem, you know, I stayed way too long on that island because the fish were there. But I finally said, we got to go because they're not doing what we think they should be doing. And that's how we ended up doing okay on Salem, was we moved away and went somewhere else.
The biggest thing I use forward-facing sonar for is like, oh, there's a rock pile 60 feet in front of me. Whereas with downsand and side scan, you got to get more over it before you see that rock pile. So like I can see it out there. Like I think I totaled it up at one point. I think it's like 10 or 15 fish that I actually cast to a dot that was a fish and caught the fish. But I probably caught 50 or more fish because I could see structure out
before you got to it.
Before I got to it. That's really what I use it for the most, is like, oh shit, there's a fucking tree. And not only the thing about the forward is like, because you're beaming at it, you can see the difference between the front of a tree and the back of a tree or the stump. You can see like which part of it has a drop. So you can see a little bit more on 2D because you can pan it around and get a different perspective of the actual. Whereas with like traditional down or 2D, you'd have to like fucking do donuts for 5 minutes to figure out what it actually looks like. Whereas like with this, you can be like, okay, you point it at a stump and you're like, okay, there's a stump. And then you pan it to the right and you're like, oh, there's a ledge on the other side of the stump. You wouldn't see that as easily. That's honestly the biggest advantage. But at the same time, like you said, it's $1,000 for the unit that we have.
Right.
You can get a fucking decent side imaging unit for $500.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I know. I hope you're ready, and I hope Matt's ready. Next year, he's got live scope. He used it. I think on Carmi was the first time he said he caught a fish that he was like, "There's one out there," and he's like casting at it until he finally saw it bite it, and that was his first time actually watching a fish bite it. But next year, I'm going to be on the front deck with him.
Yeah,
dude, Carmi is a perfect lake to learn that technology.
Yeah.
Because the water clarity helps you. The water clarity makes a big difference. Actually, another lake that I actually had a lot of success on was Chitrez.
Yep.
Because there's not a lot of grass, so you're not
start taking on water. We were just getting to our good spot.
And there's random boulders and everything all around that place. I still go there and find random humps that I had no idea were there.
Right.
The other sneaky advantage about the forward-facing sonar is Chitrez. You don't run into some of them fucking boulders because they're there before you get there.
Because they're coming.
Because that is the only lake that I've ever had problems like running my fucking prop into boulders and shit because you don't expect them to be there. Or like the island that's either there or it isn't on the left side by the ramp. That fucking those two islands on the way out that depending on whether the water's at full draw or not are there or not.
Right.
Those are always fun. So, but yeah, we've been trying to leave for like 20 minutes, and we're gonna bail now. I promise.
I think Jesse might be asleep.
Jesse's like, guys, listen, this is like my third podcast this week. I'm super popular, but I need to go. But yeah, guys, we'll be back next Wednesday. I have no idea what the topic will be, so if you guys have a suggestion, let me know. If not, the three of us will come up with one, and maybe we'll even have Pete back. Who knows? Maybe he'll become like a paint connoisseur guy that will come in and tell us about something that he's doing, or he can just sit there and paint baits while we talk because he's probably going to be building up inventory for the shows. So
yeah, I got to get this store order done first, and then I can work on the show stuff.
Perfect. So, but yeah, guys, if you guys want to check him out, do you have the website up now, or is it going up soon?
It's up.
It is up. So
and it's currently now through January 1st. Use discount code holidays20. Okay. And it's 20% off and free shipping.
All right. I will make sure to put the link down in the description if you guys are watching this after the fact. If you don't know the link, hit me up and I will send it to you guys. And I'll probably do a post later too. But check out the baits. I'm going to probably be hitting up the store too and hitting some baits too. So, because
all of the funds from the sale are going to get me to the expo.
Perfect.
Right.
So,
Perfect. So yeah. So I
and then
thought
the expo will pay for extra stuff for my boat.
There you go.
so he can beat me in tournaments, so you guys can watch me suck on YouTube. So we'll make it.
I'm gonna whack you guys to death next year.
Because
And I will not.
so, all right, guys, we will see you all next week. I'm going to end the show right here, and yeah,